doing, folks? Hope you're all doing well. Hope everyone is doing well. Especially today of all days. Let me tell you. Aye, aye, aye. It is a month dedicated to male mental health. Not that anybody will tell you that, because, you know, obviously we aren't the priority, it seems. But we are here, though, on this channel. How's it going? Hey, Matthias, how's it going, dude? How is it going? It is for male mental health. So, again, something incredibly important to the channel, I have to admit. Like in terms of mental health and making sure that we're all doing well. There's a few things I want to talk about, though, whilst we're talking about it. One of them's therapy. I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah. Scriptic, how's it going, dude? Playing any games tonight? I might do. We'll see. Back to work tomorrow. Dude, I remember back in the day having to put up with the Sunday blues. Hated it. Sunday blues. Might play some Space Marine. Maybe do some Space Marine. That'd be cool. Yeah, Space Marine would be good. Maybe we jump into that. Meh, Matthias? Why meh? Gym Jitsu going okay? Good. Anything that you give to the channel today, in terms of a payment or, you know, a super chat, whatever, that all goes towards men's health and suicide prevention in the imperative Movember. All goes to that. So don't worry about, if you've never given before, then maybe consider doing it today. I'd consider it anyway. Hey Court, how's it going, man? Or is it man? Sorry. Just noticed the screen. Blind Lobster, I'm interested in the 11/20th video. It is so obvious. Okay. Playing some card, thought I'd tune in. Good, Cryptic. Cheers, man. Well, Call of Duty, right, It is one of those really good dive in, dive out games, but I do give it a bit of a lambasting in our next 40k. In our next 40k go around. Hey Caesar, how's it going, man? Do? Hope you're doing well, dude. Hope you're doing well. How about phrenology? Feeling the head to learn about the brain within. I don't know too much. You didn't miss anything. I've literally just started. Yeah, I might do some Space Marine in a bit. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. One thing I did want to discuss as well, maybe we can get into that at some point, is making your own Space Marine chapter. And the process therein. I've been getting a lot of emails about that recently. Do, 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 do. Hey Ben, hope you're having a peaceful evening. It is peaceful. It is peaceful. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. It isn't too bad at all. Like I'm just sitting here, nice cup of tea, chilling. I had a hell of a hangover this morning, dude. I can't drink anymore. I don't know if any of you are good drinkers. I just can't anymore. It's just not something I can do. At least it's not something I can do and then, you know, maintain it over days. You know? Alrighty. Blow my neck. Do you regularly drink coffee? I do every day, every morning, yes. Yeah. Graham says, can I get 3-day hangovers now? Yeah, same, man, same. Matthias says, I have difficulty in nailing down the specifics of my homebrew chapter. I'm good at stories about it. I think that's something to be... Yeah, there's definitely something to be said for... Again, you know what? I'm just going to put it on screen. Give me a sec. It's one of my favourite thumbnails that we did. We'll talk about it now, then we'll get into mental health stuff. Where are you? No, don't seem to be able to find it. It'll be around somewhere. I'll come back to it. Anyway, so your own Space Marine chapter. The main thing, the main piece of advice I can give anybody doing their own Space Marine chapter, right? The main one, and if you don't remember anything else from this stream, right? Keep it vague. Literally, that's it. Keep it vague. All 40k lore is vague, right? Literally all of it. Keep it nice and vague. The more you narrow in a piece of 40k lore, the more you actually explore it and pull it apart and want to show it to people, the more you peel back the mystery, the less like 40k it sounds. I know that sounds weird, but it's true. Literally, the less like 40k it is. For instance, the Emperor's Wolves, which we are currently in the process of doing for the channel, they have lore. They have quite extensive lore. I just don't... I just don't go head over heels, right? I don't go mental in making sure that everything that the chapter is shown to the reader straight away, right? Because it's not. It's literally not. Like, I try and keep it as vague as possible. So, if you have any sort of big, shall we say, plans for your chapter, that's fine. Keep them in the background. You know, even if it's like, the more world-shattering your ideas are in terms of 40k, right? The more world-shattering they are, the more you should keep them to yourself, right? Hint at them. Hint at them being there. Hint at them being a thing. So the thing with the Emperor's Wolves, again, this is not a dumb marine. This is what I painted a few weeks ago. I've shown it off before. Thing with the Emperor's Wolves is, they are World Eater's successors. We've done that before on the channel. I've said before about their genetic heritage. But we don't say that. We hint. We hint that this is what they are. But we don't outright say to the reader, oh, by the way, these are World Eater's successors. No, we don't do that. We give you enough information that you can make that connection yourself if you know the 40k lore. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Scriptic says, bro, your chapter changes it. And that every week. Well, I don't think it does. I've got 3 that I work on. I'm kind of like, I don't know. Adeptus Anonymous, is it? Yeah. He works on 4 or 5 at a time. I have too many ideas, dude. I just have too many ideas. Raziel says, male mental health is at an all-time high. It's great that we have a channel like yours. I'm not sure I agree with that, unfortunately. I don't think male mental health is very high. It's really unfortunate and it sucks, right? But unfortunately, you know, I honestly don't think it's that way at all. I think, if anything, I think I get a unique exposure to it having the YouTube channel. So I get emails, I get sometimes phone calls, like people on Discord saying, listen, can I just call you quick? And it is trying sometimes. I'll be honest, like, it's trying sitting here and listening to the amount of young men who are really struggling, like really, really struggling. It sucks and I hate it, but it is what it is. We are where we are. You know? We are where we are. I'd be interested to know why you think it's going well. Or is that just a compliment to the channel? If so, then thank you very much. But I'd be interested to know, Raziel, why you think it's going well. Why you think male mental health is going well. I would also be very careful to folks like... You're not doing this, Raziel, by the way, but I've heard it before when people have said, oh, well, it's not really a problem because it's not really affecting me. It's like, well, you know... Scriptic says, no, I get you. I've got flesh tearers, orcs, and world eaters on the go with so many more ideas. 40k is the land of ideas, man. It is literally the land of ideas. It is what we do. Theophile says, it's perfectly normal to change your custom chapter. Design takes time to come to fruition. You will never get the perfect draft on the first try. That is also true. That is also true. I will say, doing your, how do I put this? What I would do, that's a really good exercise. If you've got really weird ideas to do with 40k, right? Absolutely do some bonkers ideas. Right? Do some bonkers ideas. You know? It can be law breaking. It can be absolutely ridiculous. Yeah? But get it out your system. Get it out your system. That way, when you actually come down to actually write your lore, you can make sure that it fits. If you know what I'm saying. You've already got it out your system. It's already all there. You know? Get it all out your system. Like, if you've got an idea where, you know, your guy's going to go fight Robute Gilliman and beat his ass, fair enough. You know, that's fine. But get it out your system. That means when you actually sit down to write your lore, you're actually sitting down and you're... Here's the thing about lore as well, right? And it's going to link into this point. If you feel like you need to jury rig something or jimmy it around to make it fit in 40k, it doesn't fit. I don't care how good of an idea it is. If you need to create a MacGuffin to get your lore piece to work in 40k, it doesn't fit. And it's going to come across as really amateur hour when people try and read it. The best 40k homebrew I've seen has literally been minimalist ultramarine successors, but they have written them in a way that's incredibly interesting. So they've got certain quirks and certain nods to where their genetic heritage might actually be from, or certain things about their homeworld that are a little odd, you know what I mean, compared to everybody else. That's cool, and it fit right in. It literally fit right in. I mean, how much do we really know about chapters like the Kakarodons? The Kakarodons are a really popular chapter, but their lore kind of fits it on one page, right? It literally fits on one page. You don't need to go any further than that. Oh, Raziel, you said you meant the opposite of the number of males suffering is at an all-time high. Yeah, it is. It is. In my opinion, it is. Dirty says you could make a patchwork chapter comprised of the remnants of others, planning on making one myself. Is that a chimeric chapter? Yeah? Is that a chimeric chapter? So a chimeric chapter is one with multiple gene seeds in the same dude, right? In the same people. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, it is unfortunate. It is at an all-time high, though. It is very unfortunate. Scriptic says, painting 2k of flesh tears at the moment for a tournament at Warhammer World in December, but I'm going to have to do 3 colours on some of them, so I'm going to look like a bit competitive dickhead. No, you're not going to look like a competitive dickhead, no. Warhammer World's got rules, right? You need to have 3 colours on your forces or they don't count, right? It's fair enough. Theophile says, I'm making my own chapter as a codex, which, if you agree, I wish to share with you as a narrative campaign for the Northern Exile verse. Yeah, sure, man. Send it in. Dirty says, more like a few chapters who are almost dead to be band together as a new one. I see great potential for conflict. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. Yeah. I think one thing that wasn't really used very well in the current 40k setting, like at all, was the Unnumbered Sons joining their chapters and the conflict therein. It really didn't do much at all. You know what I mean? And it sucks. There we go. Like, I think we had one with somebody joining a successor of the Ultramarines, and they were like really, you know, really not very nice people, these Marines, and this other Marine was like a really nice dude. So you just didn't know what to do. Cryptic says, I've enjoyed building a second company of Flesh Tearers so I can still make my own headcanon for them while still having in-law references and stories. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. That is cool. So I just wrote a story about the Emperor's Wolves, and it was about an Inquisitor of the Ordo Astartes, right? And essentially it's him taking a rogue trader to task for basically, you know, ransacking a shrine world, right? And the Ordo Astartes Inquisitor says, yes, you need to pull back and go away. And the rogue trader basically laughs at him, like no, like, you know, you can't tell me what to do. I'm a rogue trader. Go screw yourself. And Ordo Astartes guy calls in the Emperor's Wolves. What you should do with any sort of story that you write, first and foremost, show how they fight, right? Literally show how they fight. It doesn't matter how in-depth you need to be. It can be just, you know, your guys arrive on the scene of a conflict and they're sorting things out, or it could be anything like that. But we need to see what they do, you know? We need to see what they do and what they do well. Why do they? How do they go to war? You know? So here's the thing, Scriptic. Here's the thing that I do. Sometimes I will have an idea for a Space Marine chapter, right? And I'll kind of write a new Space Marine chapter and think, oh my god, these guys suit that way of war much better than the old guys, so I switch around their things, right? So the Void Talons were going to be, those are the guys who were good in space, right? And they were going to be ultra amazing at Void Warfare, that kind of thing. And in the end, I kind of backed away from the idea because they're already used in lore, in canon, and they've basically been destroyed by Angron, which sucks. You know? And the Emperor's Wolves, I really wanted to make sure that they were... So what the Emperor's Wolves do, okay? In fact, I can even show you. I can even show you what I do. Give me a sec. Give me a sec here. I can show you how I actually do it. Did a sec. Somebody's at the door. One sec. Alright, back. Sorry about that. Yeah, somebody at the door. So, let me show you this, if I can. Window capture. We'll go with this. Here we go. Here we go. So, this is essentially a treatment for Emperor's Wolves, right? So, this is me, essentially. You should be able to see that on the stream. No, maybe not. What the hell's going on? Okay, maybe you can't see it. Tell you what, dude. Let me just do it in a normal tab. One sec. Why is this so complicated? Right, that should be fine now. There we go. Now you can see it. There we are. So, this is essentially the treatment that I did for the Emperor's Wolves, right? Literally sit there on my own and I think about what I want my chapter to be, how I want it to fight, and what I want it to do, right? This is essentially what I do. And I don't have much here right now, because I've just started. I've just started fleshing it out, right? Fleshing out the ideas of what the chapter's going to be. So, let's read it together, what I've got so far, right? So, key concepts. How will they be written, right? So, obsessed with absolution and the constant hunt for the fallen, the Emperor's Wolves were a second founding chapter of the First Legion Dark Angels. So, we already know, right, what they do. We already know where they're from and the kind of proclivities they'll have as Dark Angel successors. You know, they're probably going to be quite knightly. They're probably going to be quite obsessed with secrets and honor and personal glory and things like that, right? Pretty cool stuff. Awesome. So we know that bit already. Created at the end of the Horus Heresy after fighting fiercely on both Lunar and Holy Terra at the climax of the war, the chapter was dubbed the Emperor's Wolves and sent to harry the retreat of the traitors into the Eye of Terror, or to die in the attempt. This was to be an eternal crusade of penance. The true reason for this need for absolution, however, is only known to a select few within the chapter, right? So, I wanted the Emperor's Wolves to have this burden of shame, guilt, right? Of something that happened in the past. What is going on here, you know? And I thought, well, what chapter will best be, would best be suited to take them in as orphans? And the Dark Angels are that chapter, because they're very much the same way inclined. Okay, so many think that the Fallen are the reason for this drive to absolve themselves, but this is simply a cover for the more pertinent shame. The Emperor's Wolves are actually loyalist world eaters formed from the psychically resonant members of the Legion who could not have the Butcher's nails implanted within them. This is known to the chapter as the Great Shame, and is hinted at, but never fully exposed within the lore of the chapter. Okay, so this isn't... Nobody's going to be reading this, this is just for me, as the writer, and for you guys, obviously, because you're reading along. Their name derives from the wishes of the founding Astartes of the chapter to return to being the Warhounds of old. Their chapter symbol is eerily similar to that of the Warhounds, the Legion the World Eaters once were before finding their cursed Primarch Angron. The Emperor's Wolves fought at the side of heroes like Khor Swain during the Horus Heresy, and so developed deep brotherhoods with the Dark Angels, who eventually reached Terra. This led them to being adopted as brothers at the end of the war, at the end of the conflict, and their sire officially being recorded as the Lion. The Emperor's Wolves were present at the destruction of Caliban, fighting with distinction against the Fallen and earning their place amongst the Dark Angels by chasing many Fallen all the way to the Eye of Terror itself. They have patrolled around the Eye of Terror near constantly since then, intercepting traitor and renegade Astartes forces, forging alliances with the Officio Assassinorum and the Ordo Astartes in chasing down such warriors in the depths of space. They are one of the only Dark Angels forces to have close links with such powers, but even these they keep at a distance from the heart of their chapter. The Emperor's Wolves act very much like Dark Angels, with only the chaplains and chapter master knowing of the true origins of the chapter. They are a chimeric chapter, with mostly World Eater but also Dark Angels gene seed in the creation of their new Astartes. The Emperor's Wolves see themselves as the Emperor's true executioners, obsessively ignoring almost all of the conflicts to chase down and assassinate traitor Astartes commanders, Chaos Warbands, and entire Renegade Astartes chapters, should the need arise. They hunt the Fallen with a fury and single-mindedness that is beyond the pale of most Dark Angels chapters. Even with the return of the Lion, the Emperor's Wolves keep their distance even from him, believing his forgiving of the Fallen to be an insult to the Emperor, who is their god. Yes, they do worship the Emperor as a god. Truthfully, though, many within the chapter who know of their true origins are uneasy of the reception that they may gain from the Lion. Alright, so basically what we've done there, we've set up who the Emperor's Wolves are, right? We've set up how they fight. We've set up what their true origins are and what we're going to be hinting at. And we're setting up a future conflict, a future wrinkle in the plan, right, of who they are. Again, and you can see, I think we've got a pauldron here somewhere. Maybe we don't, do we? No? Maybe we don't. Anyway, I'll show you the pauldron in a bit. But, yeah, so those are the ideas so far. But that's the kind of thing that I would suggest you do, right? You sit down, you go through your lore, and you actually figure out those main questions. How do they fight, right? What do they want? Where do they fight? And what is their past? What is their culture, their past? And you should be able to absolutely ring through a load of details from answering questions like that, you know? What's that colour on the base? It is Martian Iron Earth with Riser Rust. Martian Iron Earth with Agrax Earthshade and then Rise of Rust dry brushed over the top. Don't be that guy, Dr. Rotwang. That's something that I can't. Happens all the time, dude. People are like, oh, do your models the way I do them. No. There is no definitively correct way to do models, man. You know, if I don't want to drill the holes, I won't drill them. I was thinking of painting a few on just to really piss people off. It'd make me laugh. Minding Bat says, are you still going to have people send you the Exile 40k verse essays? Yes, for the 2nd and 11th Lost Legions. It's only the 11th. We did the 2nd already. I've been writing lore for one of those 2 legions, who they were and what they want, etc. Yeah, cool, man. Yes, but only for the 11th Legion. Only for the 11th Legion. Only for the 11th. Yeah, just I don't know what it is with like. I know it'll look better if they're drilled. I just can't be bothered. It's not something I've ever been bothered to do. Do you guys have any sort of things that everybody else does in the hobby that you just don't do? Like mine would be the drilling of the barrels. But do any of you actually have anything that is like that, where you're like, oh, I can't bother doing that? Or something that everybody seems to do that you just don't in the hobby? There we go. I just glue sand as a base. Oh, I can see why people are triggered by that. I can see why people are triggered by that. I think there are certain ways where you can basically say that there's no excuse for not doing something, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, for me, that base there is so easy to do. You just slap down some Martian iron earth, wait for it to dry and crack. Literally just go and... put some Agrax Earthshade over it, and then when that's dried, dry brush it with Rise of Rust. Done, right? And it looks really good. Thinning paint most of the time, says Lord Severlox. Ooh, okay. I've seen a few contributions to the fundraiser, so thank you very much. Those of you who've done that. Scriptic says, look man, I use an airbrush and they're not magic. I've spent 100 I spent 100 on it to half my time doing the base coating. It's dull. Yeah, I can understand that. I can understand that. I can understand that. Filling paint most of the time, I find it's not needed if you can spread the paint around well enough, or you just take a lot off the brush before you apply it. Also helps as I'm lazy. Certain paints, especially Citadel paint Sevolox, won't activate properly unless they have water in them. That is something else to think about. At least a little bit of water, or a very wet brush. Yeah. It also helps with applying it too, in like a one smooth coat. So you're not getting any bubbly lines and things. Got an idea. So Mining Back says, I get an idea that they could be like Special Forces style Space Marines who never really worked much like a Legion or even Chapter. And I said go around in little kill teams accepting missions. I quite like that idea, and that's something that I've been trying to work into my own force as well. In that I quite like the idea of a small grouping of Space Marines that do stuff like that. That'd be really cool. I like that. I like the idea of that. I do. I like the idea of that. Okay. Scriptic says, always worth thinning paints for a nicer finish overall and an even coat of colour. Yes. Indeed. Jimjitsu says, I'm not against airbrushing, I just don't do it beyond spraying a base coat down with a rattle can. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing with when it comes to doing like a base coat of things, you know what I mean? That's yeah, I get that. I'm with you on that one. Always worth thinning paints for a nice finish overall. Yeah, I think everyone's saying kind of the same thing, which is good. For me, it's the flashbacks to 2nd edition, all 3 primary colours and bright goblin green bases. Shudder. Well, it's part of the. I'm also somebody who, again, we had a guy who came into the Games Workshop a few times, and he would always go on about the good old days of the goblin green bases, right? Goblin green bases, they're the best thing. Oh, no. You know, I just. See if I can find something to show you. Yeah, here we go. I found some. So these are new models, painted in the old style. So I think this is what you mean. These are new models painted in the old style. Right? So it's one or two primary colours, red and yellow, as this army is, and a goblin green base. That used to be what kind of like every 40k army used to look like. Pretty much. Pretty much. So, we had a guy who came into the store, and he would always go on about the good old days of when things were simpler and better, and we had goblin green bases, and he would talk about, you know, Primaris Marines as if they were they were worse looking Marines than the old ones, and I just didn't get that at all. I was no, you are empirically wrong, like you are actually wrong. Like there is no. I'm sorry. I very rarely say this, but you're absolutely incorrect, right? Primaris Marines are the shit. They look amazing. I can understand with maybe you want to go back to the old ones, fair enough, but like just from a bog standard standpoint, no. New Marines look better. You know. So airbrushes, like, it's quite a famous rant, at least on the channel, that I don't like airbrushes or something. It's not true, right? Jim Jitsu said it there as well, yeah. So, with an airbrush, my issue with airbrushes is that when you see a painting tutorial online, usually they'll say, right, I'm going to show you how to paint Black Templars really well, or the Space Marine chapter really well. First, spend £150 on an airbrush. No. 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 You're not teaching anybody painting techniques. You're teaching them how to spray. It's not the same thing. Right? I've seen so many videos. Oh, let me teach you how to paint. What, with your finger? By pressing a button down? And swiping from side to side? That's not painting, right? I understand airbrushes are great and they save time. I understand that. I'm with you on that one. Absolutely. Understood. Right? If I had to paint all of the same colour, I would get an airbrush too. But don't sit there and go, I'm such a great painter. No, you're not. You spray different colours on different parts of your model and call it done. And then you touch up the details with, you know, no. Sorry. That's my issue. My issue isn't that you use airbrushes. I think they're a really good tool. My issue is some people that use airbrushes tend to think, and even worse, say to people that they're really good at painting. And no, you are good at holding your finger down. That's what you're good at, right? You're good at holding your finger down on a button. You know. Woe says, I always struggle to thin my paints the perfect amount. A lot of times they get too thin and collect and drag itself into the bubble on the Mini. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I can see that. Thing is, though, you don't really need to... how am I going to say this? You can solve that problem by choosing when to apply the paint to the model, right? If your paint isn't the right consistency yet, don't put it on the model. Practice. You know? Just practice until you get the consistency that you want, then apply it to your model. Minding Back says, that's literally every painting guide recently. Dude, I switched them off. Like, if I'm looking at a painting guide and the guy gets out an airbrush, I switch it off. Like, and by the way, here's another thing that pisses me off about it, right? Go and get yourself an airbrush. What if I don't have your airbrush? Do you know what I mean? What if I don't have your airbrush and your setup, your exact setup? I'm screwed, aren't I? I'll get different results and I'll be very frustrated. Don't do airbrushing in online tutorials. Feel free to do airbrushing tutorials that show you how to set up an airbrush and how to get one or where to get one from. That's great, that's fine, that's grand. But don't do a painting tutorial where 90% of your painting is done using an airbrush. Again, what if I don't have your airbrush? What if I've got slightly different paints? You know? It's why the Duncan Road stuff was so popular. Because he'd tell you, listen, go and get this paint, go and get that paint, go and get this brush, go and get this brush, and if you do exactly what I tell you to do, you will get this result. That's what a painting tutorial should do. It teaches you how to get the results that you see on the screen. Most models look shite, just airbrushed. I agree. I am inclined to agree. Definitely inclined to agree. Most of them don't look good from that standpoint. You know? I agree. Because the shadows just look wrong. When you see a model that's just airbrushed, I can see what they're going for, like an ultra... There's such a thing as something being too realistic, do you know what I mean? And some airbrushed models are brushed from different angles to get shadow effects and stuff. It looks too realistic, it looks uncanny. You start getting into uncanny valley territory, right? It's not great. Lord Severlock says, if someone does a painting guide with an airbrush, they should really put it in the title. As soon as I see an airbrush, I just click off. I have one, but can't be arsed with the cleanup. Yeah. 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 Again, it doesn't bother me. Like AI, yes, Matthias, yes. Yes. AI models. Cryptic says, I've never really come across that with most vids. I see normally the final steps like edge highlighting and recess shading that makes models stand out. That could be true as well. That could be true as well. That could be true as well. Looks good, just looks different, and you can't put your finger on it. I'm exactly the same. I'm exactly the same. Minding Bat says, same. I look for tank painting guides and they're all airbrush guides. Well, with airbrushing tanks, I can see what they're doing there. I can see why they're doing it too. Like, you know what I mean? You're airbrushing your tank. You want it to do it relatively quickly. Painting a tank by hand can be a right pain in the arse. So I understand what that's for. I don't understand that question, Theophile. Just to remind you, thank you for donating already, but if you want to donate, all you got to do is do a super chat or something, or whatever you would normally do on the channel, and that will go straight to Movember. Doesn't go to me. So you know. Have you ever painted Chaos Trim? I have. I have. For many a store army. Not great. Ed says, when are we going to get the most legendary of Sir North rages about the new Dragon Age game? Now, if you want me to. So, let me just get it up here. Let me just get it up. That's what she said. All right. So, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Since Ed is a normal contributor, let's talk about it. All right. I'm going to be completely honest. I have not played this game. And I think I was willing to give it a chance. Like, all throughout the summer, I was willing to give this game a chance. I was sitting down and going, do you know what? This is going to be great. You know, we're going to get a really cool game. And then I started hearing more things about it and started to really back away and think, oh no, what's happening here? And now, of course, we are where we are with the painful dialogue, the real dumbing down. The real dumbing down of the entire setting. And I watched a few playthroughs for the first couple of hours of the game, and I just couldn't. And I think it says a lot how much I love Dragon Age and BioWare in general, right? I couldn't do this. I couldn't do this. I couldn't play this. I backed right away from this. This is Dragon Age written by Gen Z, you know, who've watched too many Marvel movies and are obsessed with identity politics. I don't play video games to be confronted with you know, what kind of gender do you want to be? What do you mean? What's your gender identity? What do you mean? I just want to fight dragons and smother myself in Morrigan's tits. Like, that's what I'm here for. That's why I'm playing Dragon Age. Can I not just do those two things, please? Like, the writing itself and the voice acting, by the way, was terrible. Like, even going through the game, the voice acting was awful. Even when they were revealing the game, wasn't good at all. combat looked wishy-washy. Not my kind of thing. Just can't be doing with it. Can't be doing with it. So I haven't played it, and I have it for on EA Pass. You know what I mean? I could play it on there. I just can't, man. I just can't. It's painful. It is painful to watch what's going on with the Veilguard. I think, in all honesty, this might be it for BioWare. I think that's it. I think that's it. I think this is pretty much it. I think they're pretty much done now. I can't see them recovering from this in any way, shape, or form. You know, the absolute shills in the gaming industry, by the way. The absolute despicable people in gaming journalism who were sycophantic over this game, saying it was one of the best things they've ever played. Outright lies. Telling you outright lies. Only for a week later for most of them to do a U-turn. Say, actually, no, it wasn't that good, and it might be the last Dragon Age game. Nah, not for me. Not for me. I don't think, in terms of what's wrong with it, I honestly, the woke stuff's in there, right? The woke stuff is in there, and it's not great, and I hate it, right? It shouldn't be in there. But I think a lot of people get fixated on there being woke stuff in the game, and that being the problem. That isn't the problem. Not for me. That was not the issue. The issue was not the woke stuff, right? The issue was the terrible writing. The issue was the awful world building. The issue was the Fortnite-looking characters. The issue was the demystification and de-darkening, the undarkening of Dragon Age. Dragon Age was a dark fantasy epic. That's what it was built as. That's what it was sold as. That's not what this is. This is not a Dragon Age game. Yeah? So the woke stuff, bad. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I'm with you. Don't like it as much as... I don't like it just like you. I don't like it. But that wasn't the main issue. The main issue was not, oh, this game's woke. The main issue is this game is not Dragon Age. That's the main issue. That's the main issue, guys. What are your guys' thoughts on Dragon Age? Has anyone played it? Because there is part of me. There is. Thank you for your sterling contributions to the men's mental health fundraiser, by the way. I kind of feel bad because maybe I should play it. Maybe I should play it to get my own opinion. But from what I've seen of it, I don't want an opinion on this. Do you know what I mean? From what I see of it, I just can't. I don't care. I can't bring myself to care. I just can't. I can't hack it. You know? I want to watch you stream, it says Minding Bat. Oh my god. I tell you what. So, in total, we've raised $1,272 in the existence of this channel for this charity. If we ever get to $2,000, then I'll stream it. How's that? If we get to $2,000, I'll stream it. Chance says Cyberpunk is a prime example of that. You could express whatever gender identity you wanted, and there was a plethora of options. Exactly, yeah. Yeah, and by the way, having gender options and the option to be trans isn't woke. Right? There are trans people in the world. Doesn't bother me at all. And it never bothered people with Cyberpunk. Nobody ever said anything about it. No one was saying, oh, you know, awful. This is awful. You know, how dare they have trans representation in Cyberpunk? No, because it was a natural part of the world. And by the way, there's a YouTuber by the name of Sphere Hunter, right? I recommend her channel. It's really good. Anyway, one sec. Sorry, I'm back on the Yorkshire tea for today because I wanted to pick me up. So, she is trans, right? And basically came to... that there were a lot of controversies in Cyberpunk because a lot of the advertisements, if they have trans people in them, they seem quite exploitative, you know, and things like that. And she said, good. Good. Do you know why? The reason why that's good is because we're not treated any differently in Cyberpunk. We're just one of you, right? Being trans in Cyberpunk isn't this big thing, right? You're just one of the sheep. You are a victim of the corporations and the rampant corruption, just like everybody else. And I completely agree with that. That was amazing. I was like, yeah, that's a really good take. And I brought that up on my own playthrough too. I'm doing a playthrough on the gaming channel, the Northern Exile gaming channel. And I brought that up. I said, yeah, this is, you know, this was a really good point. Because I saw that advert. There is an overtly sexual advert with a trans person on it. You know, exploiting them, essentially, for, well, exploiting them to get customers and things, right? And I stopped and said, yeah, do you know why I support that being there? Because they're just... In Cyberpunk, it's not a big deal whether you're trans or not. It really isn't. And they treated it that way. They didn't draw any attention to it. It was just in the game, right? When you've got a game that gives you fucking top scars and shit like that, and then you've got characters in the game who just sit you down and say, oh, by the way, I'm trans... I'm they, them, right? That's who I am. So, you know, oh, by the way, did I tell you that it's they and them now? Did I tell you that? Okay, did I tell you that? Okay, cool. What, you misgendered me? Well, now you need to do press-ups. It's terrible. How dare you, right? The other part of Dragon Age that I really... And this is the thing that... the straw that broke the camel's back for me, for this game, right? Is when I found out that I can't be evil. I can't be nasty. I can't be... in any way, shape or form, antagonistic towards people in the game. Do you know why that's there? Because they couldn't give you the option to be mean to trans people. Because a lot of people would be, because it's funny. It's not, you know what I mean, though? It's not funny to do it in real life. What I'm saying is a lot of people would do it just to see what it's like. Just to be, you know, quote-unquote based. You know? And they knew that was the case, so that's why Dragon Age the Veilguard is so tepid. And you can't even have a differing of opinions with your companions. Juxtapose that with Dragon Age Origins, where you can literally get them killed. Literally. Dragon Age 2, you can literally kill off... you can sell one of your companions into slavery in Dragon Age 2. You shouldn't. That's an awful thing to do, but you can. Dragon Age the Veilguard is a Dragon Age game where you can't be mean to people. Basically, you can't roleplay. You don't have the options to roleplay. You are nice guy Rook, and that is who you are. Wings of Steel, thank you very much, my friend. You are nice guy Rook, and that is who you are. There is no option to do anything else. You know? It's kind of like... The lead protagonist from Fallout 4, right? You are a nice guy. You're just a nice guy walking around, and the meanest you can be is angry with somebody. And even Fallout 4 let you be angry, like with Kellogg and things like that. You can actually say, like, I'm gonna, yeah, I hope I go to hell after I send you there, so I can kill you again, you piece of shit. And that was like, yeah, who's standing in the aisles at that point? You know what I mean? It's brilliant. Love it. Dragon Age the Veilguard isn't a role-playing game. And that's the biggest slap in the face I can give it. Right? Any game that tells you what your role is and doesn't let you deviate from it isn't a role-playing game. It's the same reason, and please bear in mind, I really, really, really like The Witcher 3. I think it's a brilliant game. A seminal game. But it's not a role-playing game. Don't hit me. I'm saying, it's my opinion, it's not a role-playing game. For the same reasons, right? It tells you you're Geralt of Rivia, you play as Geralt of Rivia, and you can't deviate from being Geralt of Rivia. You can't be overly evil, you can't be overly nice, you're just Geralt. You may be a slightly different flavour of Geralt, but you're basically Geralt, right? It's not a role, you're not playing a role, you're not playing a role you've defined. You're playing a character that the game has told you are. If The Witcher 3 is a role-playing game, right? So is every game in which you play a character. Which isn't true, right? Which just isn't true. What about Mass Effect? Now, Mass Effect, yeah, Wings of Steel, good point. Mass Effect is more of a RPG, right? Because, yes, you're playing Shepard, but you are playing your Shepard. So my Commander Shepard and yours may be quite different in where they are on the Renegade Paragon spectrum, right? The choices that they've made throughout the game will be different. Entire races could be wiped out in my game that are alive in yours. The Rachni, for instance, right? So that is a role-playing game. I get what you're trying to say, is that, well, technically you're playing Shepard, right? So you know, yeah, but your Shepard is your Shepard. Geralt isn't yours. You're playing as Geralt, right? Dragon Age the Veilguard is the same way, but worse, right? You're playing Rook, and it tries to gaslight you into thinking that you're role-playing when you're not. You can't deviate from Rook as a nice person. Even the Antivan Crows and the evil factions in this game are nice people. They're all about family and love and being together and shit. It's vomit-inducing. If this was called anything else, I'd be like, not for me, not my kind of game. Moving on. But it's called Dragon Age, right? And that I can't forgive. Sam says, I make Paragon choices, but I'm not above making Renegade interrupts. I do that as well. Well, to be fair, I play mostly Renegade. I will be playing Mass Effect on my other channel at some point. Because we've done Dragon Age Origins on the other channel. And I'll put a link to it, actually. So we've done Dragon Age Origins on the other channel. We finished, in terms of complete playthroughs, we've done Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater. We did a complete playthrough of that. We did a complete playthrough of Dragon Age Origins. And we did a complete playthrough of Space Marine 2. And we are in the midst of doing a complete playthrough of Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah. I'm fully aware that that channel is not going to be monetized, because from what I've heard, you're only allowed to monetize one channel, which is fine. There it is, by the way, if you're anybody you want to go over there and check it out. But it's the Northern Exile Gaming channel is mainly for, like, people who want more of me. I don't know why you would, but it's people who want to sit there and listen to me talk about games and talk about, you know... whenever I'm playing a game on that channel, I talk about it as I'm doing it, right? It's an old school Let's Play channel. I love Let's Plays. They're well out of fashion now. They don't do very well in the algorithm, right? Which is why I don't do them on my main channel, but I've always wanted to do a Let's Play channel, which is why I've done this. I love it. It's brilliant. And it's a really small gathering of people too, you know, got 600 odd subscribers, so whenever I get a comment, it's special. Like, I go back and forth with that comment every time. I absolutely adore it, man. It's brilliant. I'm going to record later. I'm going to record the ending of Phantom Liberty later. Yeah. I'm not sure what game we're going to do after Cyberpunk. You know. Not sure what we're going to do past Cyberpunk. It might be Mass Effect. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. What constitutes a complete playthrough? 100%. No. A complete playthrough is just the main story of the game. We go through the main story and the main content of the game. We complete the game, essentially. The Green Lion says, it's crazy how BioWare hasn't made a great game since 2010. That's bonkers, isn't it? Well, I'm going to disagree on that a little bit. I think the first 98% of Mass Effect 3 was very good. Brilliant, in fact. And I think they did fix the ending with the Leviathan DLC, but it's a shame that you had to pay for it. But they did fix it. It is a much better ending now. How about the first 2 Baldur's Gate games? That'd be cool. Have you played Detroit Become Human? I have. I have. Chase says, from my experience here in the US, there aren't many women in wargaming at all. I haven't met any woman playing at a local game store. That's true. That's true. North, can I introduce you to a band called Radiohead? I know of Radiohead, dude. I've known them for a long time. How did your girlfriend like the 40k tournament, Chase? Did she enjoy it? Fallout 3, or maybe even 1 or 2. Do you know what? I think that's a good shout. Maybe Baldur's Gate or something like that. That'd be cool. I wouldn't mind that at all. Neverwinter Nights, yeah. I remember that back in the day. I'll probably do a vote anyway. It'll be, I think people have been asking for Red Dead Redemption 2. It's just a mammoth game, that. It's fucking huge. You'd be there forever. People have said Dragon's Dogma 2. One game I'd like to recommend. One game I will recommend. One game I'm going to recommend. And you won't see it coming. Alright, you will not see it coming. But it's one game I just have to recommend. It is on Steam. You can get it right now. If you're looking for good RPGs, Road Warden. This is a story of you literally walking around the world as somebody who keeps roads clear. Somebody who essentially, you are the ranger. You're a ranger in this world and you are essentially the police. It's a text-based game. It's all text. It's very cheap. Very, very cheap. And I absolutely loved it when I played it. The amount of things you can get up to in that game is astonishing. It's brilliant. Very, very, very good. Another game I would like to recommend as a cheap version of a game. This one's a bit more expensive, but still cool. Let me just make sure I've got it here. Yep, I do. Good. Oops. Where in the hell is this thing? There we go. I seem to be able to find a picture of it that's going to download. It's ridiculous, this. Guys, how are people meant to actually advertise your game if you don't let them download pictures of it? I don't get that. Here we go. Alright, so another game I'd like to recommend is Drover. Very simple. Do you guys remember the Gothic series of games? You ever remember Gothic, right? Well, Drover is a pixelated form of Gothic. It is a true RPG. You're going around the world. It is a heavily pixelated form of Gothic. 16-bit style. Scriptic says, seeing as it's Movember, can I ask your advice on getting over my first breakup? It lasted 3 months and happened 6 ago, and I'm still lost. Yeah, sure. I mean, so do you mean 6 months ago? 6 what ago? Because it is actually quite important. So 6 what ago? Sam says, Scriptic, my best advice is that be happy, and it's brief compared to what many relationships are. Yeah. I don't buy into that. Like you're only with somebody for a certain amount of time, so it doesn't really matter. Like that doesn't really gel for me. Like it's doesn't work that way. Do you know what I mean? I've had very brief relationships that have kicked me in the arse, dude. You know, happened 6 months ago. The relationship lasted for 3 months. Okay. I think what it is, Scriptic, is how old are you? How old are you? How old are you? Because first girlfriends are a right kick in the balls. So I was with somebody when I was in my... She wasn't my first girlfriend, but we were together for like 3 months, 4 months. When I was like 23, maybe? And she was like 35, and she just screwed my head up, dude. It was horrible. She was my first love. I was 18. I just can't imagine being in a relationship with anyone else. Okay. So, I'm going to be empathetic here and just say, look, I get that sucks, right? But being 18... and thinking I'm never going to be with anybody else, that's not going to fly, dude. You know as well as I do that's not true. Like, you will be with other people. And you will be with better people down the road. Always, the amount of times in my life where I've not just enjoyed it, you know? I've not taken the moment to just sit there and go, do you know what? Things are going to be okay. Even going to university, the amount of things I could have done at university that were more... to do more at university if I knew in my head everything's going to be okay, right? Things will work out. If only I'd known, I could have had, you know, but shoulda, woulda, coulda, right? Now, I try and make sure that I smell the roses. Things are going quite well in my life at the moment, so I smell the roses. I stop, and I just smile to myself, and I drink it in, and then I get on with my day, right? But I make sure I have those moments. The same thing is for you in that relationship, dude. Just know, even if it doesn't seem like you can right now, no, you will go out, you will get with, you will sleep with, you will do all sorts of things with better women than her. I'm telling you. It never happens. When somebody says, "Oh, I'll never find somebody like that again," I said the same thing. about my first girlfriend. Oh, I'll never find someone who's into all the same stuff as me. Like Warhammer and stuff. Oh, I'll never find that. Dude, I've dated multiple of those women. Like who are better than her. Better looking. Right? Better personalities. Better in bed. Better at painting Warhammer. Like, it's not a thing, dude. Like, and the good thing is that you're 18. Or at least around that age, right? You're 18. So you are definitely in a part of life where you got the whole rest of it in front of you. To you, right, the whole world's just a big old bra waiting to be taken off. That's great. That's awesome. But embrace that. Embrace that. You know? It ended horribly. I believe that she also loved me, but she accused me of manipulating her after I told her I had to go on antidepressants after the breakup. Okay, so, yeah. One thing you're doing wrong, I will say, right? If you've had a bad breakup, don't talk to that person again, right? Cut it off at the knees. Cut it off at the knees. Walk away. Yeah? Walk away. You're doing neither of you any favours. And the other thing is, right? If by some weird degree you want to get back with this person, right? Sticking around is the worst thing you can do. Literally, sticking around is the literal worst thing you can do. The best thing you can do is walk away. Just absolutely walk away. Just go, nah, fuck you then. Bye. And walk away. You know? That's what you should be doing. Walk away, work on yourself. Like literally the worst thing you can do in a breakup is stick around like a bad smell. Like, there's nothing less attractive, right, than a guy who won't get off the stage. You know, you've been voted off. Leave. Leave, and leave with your pride. Leave with your self-worth intact, because nobody's worth that. Nobody's worth your sense of self-worth. Nobody's worth you sacrificing your happiness just to stick around and maybe they'll give you a chance. Fuck them, dude. Nah, walk away. Walk away. Get to the gym. Get eating protein. Eat less carbs. Eat more protein. Get to the gym. Drink water. Make positive changes. Now, I said at the start of this live stream that I wanted to talk about therapy, because I've had more and more people getting in touch and talking about their time in therapy and how it hasn't really helped. And I'm going to come out and say this straight up. I was wrong about therapy. Right? I was wrong about therapy. I think therapy helps folks who are suffering from post-traumatic stress, who are going through drug withdrawal or whatever it is that else is going on. Something serious has gone wrong in their life and their brain, right? But I have started to really think that therapy isn't the answer to most issues out there. Yeah? It's at this point now where I can't recommend it. I can't recommend therapy. Do you know what I can recommend? Doing what you're doing right now. Listening to other blokes, talking to them, going on live streams, having a chat, talking to your mates. That's how I think you get away with most things. I've been depressed in life, man. I've thought about taking my own life before. It's not great. It's a horrible, horrible place to be. You know? As early as just after getting back from America, so as early as 2021 was the last time I thought about ending everything, right? Summer. And it's been a long road to rebuild my life from the shattered parts of that relationship that fell apart. Yeah, when I moved across the world, moved to America, it didn't work out. I came back. My life was shattered into 1,000 pieces. I didn't know what to do. You know? I thought that was it. That's it. We're done, right? That's just how I felt. I was very angry. Very angry. And it actually led to the channel taking off in a weird way, because I channeled that anger into the rants that I would go on the channel, and that got me some traction online, and then all of a sudden I've got a small YouTube following, which is great. YouTube's been one of the best things that's appeared in my life, man. I will always be incredibly grateful to YouTube and for the channel and the people who watch me. But that was not a good time. Like, I would walk down to the beach nearly every day, because my grandpa's place was near the beach. It was near the shore. And I would walk down there and I would just sit and look out at the sea. And that was harrowing. It wasn't nice, you know? It'd be sunny, people would be having fun. I'd be sitting there listening to a podcast or music or whatever, and I'd look at the sea. And it was grim. It was a grim time. Very grim time. And it took me 2 or 3 years of constant work and building to finally get my life on an even keel. And the last thing that I needed to do to get the life that I wanted was to sort my body out, right? Because I was overweight. I was overweight, dude. I was about 2 or 3 stone overweight. Now I'm nearly at the weight where I should. You know, I'm nearly the fittest that I've ever been, in the way that my body looks, and the way that, you know, the compliments I get now. It's brilliant. I get compliments all the time when people see me. They're like, "Oh my god, like, where have you gone?" Like, you know, you got muscles. You got, like, it's great, right? But that took 2 or 3 years of rebuilding. So trust me, Scriptic, trust me when I say to you, man. When I say I've been there, I've fucking been there. Literally. I've fucking been there. Several times. Several times. The last one was a bad one. That was a bad one. I didn't know whether I was coming back from it. But I did. I did. And I wouldn't trade my life now for anything. Like people have said to me, like, even like my friends and missus, they've all asked, you know, would you change anything about your life if you could? And I have to say no. Even all the pain I've been through has led me to where I am now. And I am the most... I've still got a long way to go. Like, I know enough to know that I don't know shit, right? But I think I'm the most self-actualized version of myself ever, right? And I'm still nowhere near complete. Nowhere near. But I don't think I've ever been this close to finding me. And to, like, looking at myself in the mirror and going, do you know what? You're not a bad guy. You're not a bad guy. Maybe you're not worth hating. Maybe you're not worth hating. That's where you want to go. That's what you want to get to. In terms of being able to look at yourself in the mirror and not hate what's there. That's as a man going to the gym, that's what it's about, dude. It's about not hating what's in the mirror. That's all. That's all it is. Every decision you make in terms of you and who you are should always be about not hating the guy in the mirror. Being at peace with you. Right? Declaring a ceasefire against yourself. That's how it should be. And the reason why I say don't do therapy is because this is going to sound odd, but it's not manly. Right? So, what I mean by that is, it's a very vaginal thing to do. You go into a room and you talk to some stranger about your feelings, really? Like, that's how you're gonna solve this? And they're gonna charge you what, 150 to 200 pounds per session to sit there and listen to you whine? No. That's not how we fix things. That's not how we as men fix things. Therapy is something that I believe is pushed on men by women. It's a woman thing to do. Whenever you get a woman in your life, dude, you're her rock. You are her stability. You are her strength. That is who you are. There is nothing sexier than a man who handles his business, knows his shit, and protects whoever he's with. There's nothing... It's ridiculous, right? That kind of a guy doesn't just walk to doesn't do therapy. I'm saying it's crazy, right? You solve the issue is what you do. You solve the issue. And if you're watching this right now, you're already solving the issue. You're already there. You're on that journey. You're already putting the building blocks in place because you saw male mental health evening and thought, great, North streaming, this will be about male mental health. Maybe I'll go and have a little chat with him. Right? This is what you do to get better. You go, you find your friends, you go out for a pint, you go chill around their place, right? And there's nothing wrong with talking to your friends. Guys, I've gone out with friends, literally, so they can hear me vent. I've cried like a fucking baby with my friends in the past. When I've been out and about, letting my pain out. Dude, I was out with my mate last night, and he's had to go through some shit recently. His father passed away, right? And he's found out a lot of stuff he didn't want to find out. And he was there, and he was blubbing, just absolutely blubbing. He'd had a few pints, but this is what it takes. You know, he knows he can't let it out and cry when he's sober, so he has a few pints, and all of a sudden, out it comes. The pain comes out, right? And he talks about it. And we talked about it. We went over it. You know, we explored it together. And we got past it, right? He woke up this morning. And he said to me this morning in a text, dude, I needed that. I didn't realise how much I needed that. You know? So don't rely on therapy. Rely on your friends. You know? J-Day, lol, too bad we can't all go out and grab a pint together after this. Well, I mean, you could. Like, you could, if you've got friends, dude, just give them a text. Say, listen, let's go for a pint. Let's just go for a quick pint. Doesn't need to be a big one, just a quick pint. I just want to have a little chat, that's all. You know? Matthias says, it needs to be about normalising talking to your close friends about things you wouldn't normally talk about. Yeah. Yeah. True. True. I mean, and again, therapy has its place, right? If you're in serious shit, if you've been in the army, if you've seen some stuff, if you've got PTSD, if you've got things that it can help, yeah, man, I'm with you. Like, absolutely it can help. Definitely. I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm not saying that. Right? But what I'm also saying is for most problems that are mental health related for men, therapy ain't the answer, dude. Not in my opinion. Not in my opinion. But it depends what we term therapy as, right? Is therapy for you going and paying somebody an inordinate amount of money so they can sit there and listen to your problems that they don't really care about? Because that doesn't sound like therapy to me. Therapy to me, in a good way, real therapy is talking to your friends and crying over a beer. That's therapy. Therapy to me is getting online with the bros and playing some Call of Duty. Just take your mind off of things. That's therapy. Right? It's sending a text to a mate and saying, listen, man, like, I need someone to talk to. And then they call you straight back. As soon as they get the message. Right? That's therapy. That's what I mean. Like, I suppose I need to rephrase that. Therapy is the answer if you're doing actual therapy. Paying a stranger to listen to your problems so you can cry about it isn't, right? And here's the final thing I'll touch on that one. You know? I have no friends like that. I have my brother. Theophile? Man, that's brilliant. Excellent. Excellent. Brother's even better. Camping weekend with the lads, best therapy you can have in my opinion, says John. Yeah, I agree, yeah. Scriptic says, therapy for me is driving at night, listening to sad music and letting the tears out on my own. Yeah, yeah. Scum Goblin says about a year ago, my dad and I went out for drinks and to talk about shit. One of the best experiences of his and my mental health. Yeah, dude, yeah. I've done that with my mum. Like, years ago, I came downstairs, I was really hungover, and I came downstairs, and she made me soup, and we sat there, and we just lost my grandma at this point, and we sat there and we just talked about it for like 3 hours. You know? And then I went upstairs, and I played Star Wars The Old Republic. I know, she was still alive at that stage, yeah. She was still alive. But we were talking about, like, her childhood and things like that. We just got talking, and it was great therapy, man. It was brilliant. Sam says, I found spirituality, philosophy, and music as a performer to have helped me a lot. Good, good. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the last thing I'm going to touch on in terms of that therapy talk, this is going to be more difficult to hear sometimes, okay? Lads, especially if you get a girlfriend or a wife or whatever, don't you ever, I know they say please do, don't you ever go to her with shit like this. I know that sounds wrong, right? It's true though. It's true. You're the strength in the relationship. It's you. It's you. You're the rock. You're the anchor. You're behind her every step of the way. That's what you do, right? You're the man. You lead the house. You lead. That's what you do. What you don't do is cry in your wife's lap. Because, again, women are very nurturing. If she's got any sort of nurturing bone in her body, right, she's going to want to sit you down and help you. And dude, there's nothing worse. Don't do that. Don't do that. Right? Keep it in the brotherhood. Whatever male friend you've got, keep it in the brotherhood. Omerta, don't break it. Keep each other's secrets. Go and have a cry with them. Again, obviously, if there's a relationship stuff you and your wife need to take care of, do that. But what I'm saying is, if you're depressed, or you're feeling the heat, or you're feeling anxiety, don't take it to her. Right? Because that relationship will not last. Is that a very cynical thing to say? Yes. But dude, I've lived it. I've lived it. I've lived that relationship several times, and it never works. It works when they come to me, and I help them solve their problems, right? Because that's the natural order of things, unfortunately, right? You know, I lead the house. I'm the guy I make sure you're okay, right? I'm going to catch flack for this, but it is what it is. It is what it is. You lead the house, dude. You're the leader. You're the man in this relationship. Wear the pants and help her. Be her strength. Be her rock. And when you need help, go to your brothers. Go to the men around you to get that help. But don't go to her for emotional support. Right? Enjoy it. Enjoy your relationship. And shelter her from that part of you. I know that sounds wrong, and there's even going to be women going, don't do that, you need to talk to us. No. 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 Women will say that, and then you do it, and then they leave. Don't do it. Don't you ever, ever do that. Right? I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Listening to a woman on dating or relationship advice is like a bear listening to a salmon about how to catch salmon. Like, why? You've never caught salmon before. How would you know? How would you know, salmon? How would you know how to catch another salmon? I've been doing this my whole life. Fucking stupid. Don't listen to her. If she says, please come to me with your problems, if they're emotional, don't do that. Come to her with practical problems. I do it with mine all the time. Tax problems. I'm like, oh, how do I work this out, right? I do all that all the time. I'm not saying don't act as a team. Do. If you don't know something and she does, ask her to help you. What I mean is, when you have these thoughts of inner turmoil, right? When you're depressed, when you're anxious, don't take to her those problems. Sort it yourself. Rely on yourself. Be a man. Do some man shit right now. Suck it up. Be a man. Call on your bros. Call on your friends. Solve the problem. You're a problem solver. Don't bring this to her and cry on her lap. It's the least sexy thing you can do, and it will end up eroding her thoughts on you as a protector and as a man. It will erode that away eventually, and she will leave. I know, because it's happened to me. With good women as well. These women were not evil people. Right? They weren't evil people. These were nice people. Sam says, me and my wife have been each other's rocks at times and it's been helpful. Yeah, but that's the thing though, Sam. You're different kinds of rock. Right? You're different kinds of rock. It's not the same. It's not the same. Yeah? She is your rock in being the mother to your household. In being nurturing. In being comforting to the people around her. In being a calming influence on you and your life. That's her role as your rock. Your role is to lead. Is to be the strong one. Is to be strength. Is to be her shelter in the storm, right? That's your job as the man. On top of your usual, intruder beating up duties, right? You can be each other's rock. What I'm saying is that there are different ways. She can come to you with emotional stuff. Don't go to her. Don't do it. Right? You get it? It's far more healthy to go to your men friends. Go to your bros. Go to the brain trust. Azu says, I tell my partner how I'm doing. I don't like keeping them in the dark, but I also know that only I can help myself. I never rely on them for my mental health, but it hurts them not to not know. Yeah, maybe. Like, I don't get me wrong. I'll say to my wife, I'm feeling run down or tired, or I can't be bothered. I'm having a bad day. That's fine. That's fine. I'm not saying, like, don't ever talk to her about emotional shit. What I'm saying is that if you have an issue that needs solving, and it's emotional, and it's got nothing to do with her, don't. Just don't go there. Just don't go there. Do some man shit. Solve it. J-Day says, being stoic is a hard thing to balance. Helps with a lot of things, but hinders some key things. It does. It does. It does. Wings of Steel says, so I have an issue I'd like some input on. I have a friend who is incredibly lonely and suicidal. I don't get any time to myself due to my worry about her doing something stupid. I'm pretty much her only friend and want to help her find more, but she has issues trusting people due to really bad past relationships. Okay. Well, Wings, are you a man or a woman? Because it would be a lot harder to get her female friends if you're a man. Do you know what I mean? Because you won't know any. Do you know what I mean? I'm a man, and my main thing is I feel like I have no free time. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, Wings. Like, this is gonna be hard to listen to, right? If you're a decent human being to your friend, right? Yeah. If you're willing to take her out and do things with her when you've got free time, that's all you can do. What you can't do is take on burdens that aren't yours, right? You aren't living your friend's life. You're living your life, and you have to live it. It's quite simple, right? You have to live it. Do not take on the weight of her responsibility. Don't do it, because all it is going to do is compound and compound and compound. And you know what? You'll end up getting into an argument because she'll be too much of a burden and you'll end up retaliating and lashing out, and you don't want that, right? If you want to be a good friend, take care of yourself, right? And if she needs help, lay out to her what you're willing to do. Be very clear. Here is what I'm willing to do to help you. Because I love you, you're amazing, you're my friend, and I want to help you. Right? Then put the ball in her court. Here are the things I'm willing to do to help. And that I think can help. Then put the ball in her court. If she says, yeah, I want to do a few of these things, then go and do them with her. No problem, right? But then, if she says, nah. You know, I would, but, you know. Then say, listen, I want to help you. I want to do these things, but I'm not going to drag you out. Because I have other things going on. I've got my own life to lead. But I am your friend, I'm here for you, and I will help. I will do these things with you. Right? But I don't have very much free time as it is. So, there we are. Put it in black and white. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, dude. That's it. All you can do is lead her to water and see if she wants to take a sip. And if she does, great. Then take her out and do some things with her. But if she doesn't, then you need to let that burden go. I don't mean not be a friend, but you need to acknowledge it and say, right, I am now not feeling guilty for this. Because I have presented a solution. Very clear. I presented what I want to do, what I'm willing to do, and I'm willing to help her. If you do not take that help, then that is on you. And I will move on, right? And I will not feel bad. You can't take on everybody's burdens, dude. It doesn't work that way. Being an empathetic person is really, really difficult. Minding Bat says, encourage her to do things or do things with her that could make her friends. Yeah. Well, Warhammer's one, right? My friend from high school has changed over the past 5 years. I've not met up with him in person for 2 only voiceover PS games, and he has just turned into an ultra snob. Should I cut ties? It depends how cutting ties is, right? It depends what you mean by cutting ties. It doesn't need to be dramatic, right? You don't want to break up with your friend. There's nothing more awkward. I've had to do it once or twice where I've literally texted somebody or called them and said, listen, I don't want to speak to you anymore. You're a piece of shit. He's like, you're not my kind of guy anymore, right? If you don't really talk to this person and you just play every now and again, then just don't talk to them. You know? Your free time is precious. So who you spend that with is incredibly important. Yeah? Sometimes it's not really worth hurting somebody else's feelings to salvage a relationship that you weren't bothered about in the first place. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if you go to him and you say, these are all my issues that I have with you. You know. And then you're not really speaking to him in the first place. It's not really worth upsetting him. I just slowly wean off talking to him, if I were you. Now, if this is somebody who you're best friends with, and you really do value the relationship, then it would be worth taking him aside and saying, listen, dude, these are the issues that I'm having right now. Be honest with him. These are the issues I'm having right now. Even if you've got to bullet point them. And I'd love for us to be friends, but like, I'm not putting up with this. It's annoying me. That's what you do. But it sounds to me like you're not that bothered about being friends with him in the first place. You're just wondering whether you should even be friends with him. Then the answer to that would be no. Just walk away. You know? How long are you streaming for, North? I don't know, man. I don't know. Not for much longer, because I've got to have dinner and stuff. Scrounger King says, currently have a 2k word assignment due for tomorrow midday, and I've only just started it. Also, definitely trying to squeeze in minimal hobbying time too. Yeah, I mean, I used to think 2,000 words is a lot. It really annoys me how I can, if I'm writing like, you know, an RPG, or if I'm doing it writing to entertain and I'm enjoying it, dude, I can absolutely just do 6,000 words without breaking a sweat. But as soon as you ask me to do like an essay or something, oh, dude, I'm there all day. All right, we are going to do a poll. We're going to do a poll. All right. What is North having for dinner? You decide. Severlock says, word counts and essays are stupid. If I've made my point in the first within 800 words, why make... Yeah, that's true. Why make me write another 200 words of garbage to get a minimum word count? That is true. That's true. Like, I've literally done that before, where, like, you know, I've said to a student, like, you feel free to hand stuff in when it's like, if it's a 2,000 word minimum, if you make your point in 1,000 words, just hand it in, dude. Hand it in. I think what people say most of the time is that you need to do more research. You need to have more examples, especially in a subject in the arts, right? Like history or classics. I need evidence. How have you come to your conclusions, right? You can make your point, sure, but you need to back it up. And what they're saying is you shouldn't be able to write an essay that backs up all your points succinctly in under 2,000 words. It needs to be 2,000 words at least, right? I've cooked all week, Theophile. My missus has said don't be cooking anymore. You've done too much cooking this week. So there you go. Ari the pole. It's got to be a kebab. I had a cat llama, and I take comfort in the knowledge that I am not alone in my Monday morning ring sting. Jesus. Jay says, reunited with a friend after 20 years. First time went great. Then the next time I flew out to visit them, they have settled. Went great first 4 days, and then on the 5th, we got into a stupid fight. How long should I wait to reach out again? It's been 2 months. Depends who's in the wrong. Depends who's in the wrong. Depends what the fight was about. If it was stupid, then just say. You don't need to wait at all, man. Like, all this waiting stuff, nah, just call them now. Just text them. Mate, that was stupid. Can we get past it? And if they say no, then say, right, well, fuck you then. And you move on. At least you did your bit. Right? Imagine getting into the doghouse with your missus for cooking too much. Usually it's the opposite. I think she's more worried because Sunday is my busy day. So I've done a lot of marking today. I've recorded at least 2 lessons, recorded a video for tomorrow, recorded a video for Tuesday, and now I'm doing the live stream. And then I'm going to be recording Cyberpunk later on. So she knows it's a big day in terms of working. There's a lot to do today. And I was hungover. So, yeah. Sam says, I do the joke of I'm cooking, and it's going out to dinner and getting takeout. Yeah, yeah. Alright, we'll end the poll there. Looks like we're having chicken kebab. Lovely. Lovely old job. Well, I'm going to take that then. I'm going to go get my kebab. Thank you for all of you who contributed to the fundraiser. That's amazing stuff, man. It's amazing stuff. We keep doing really cool things on this channel, and I love it. I will be back during the week for some more live streams, probably, because it's all month. Male mental health, so I'll be getting onto that as we go through. I'll be back tomorrow with some more Hobby Nightmares, where we're going to be talking about a Games Workshop interview for a job that went very, very, very wrong. Yeah. Love you all long time. Speak to you soon. Have a good one. Bye now.